Hey guys, Stealth here. Today, a 10v10 tactical that is even more tactical than usual. You see, normally when you have a 10v10 tactical, you have about 200 points to deploy next to your CV. Everyone starts out with a CV, and most CVs are usually 100 points. So that leaves you with a complete point value of 300. 100 is deployed, 200 is left. Not so much in this game. We jumped into this game with Sparky, Pilot, Frost, and Mr. Apple. And we pretty much went for it, and we thought, whoa, what? Why do I only have 90 points left to deploy next to my CV, or 100 points if your CV is a bit cheaper? I'm using a Dutch armor deck, and I was initially planning on just going for it with full armor. Unfortunately, that's not possible if you only have 90 points, and you have a Leopard 2A4 or a Leopard 2A5 as your most expensive or your cheapest vehicles. I really don't have any others in that deck, as the deck is pretty much bare bones. So what you're gonna see here is a fight on Mudfight, or Mudfight, which is one of the... Well, it's one of the most intense fights that I've had on this map in a long time, but it's also one of the conflicts where I've seen the least CVs, or the least amount of units deployed. Working together here with Sivraj. Oh, sorry, Sivraj is also on my team. He was also on the TS back then. I only have one Dutch Leopard, or Leopard, especially for the Germans. We have Coffee God over here with another Leopard 1A5. We have Sparky backing me up with another Leopard 1A5 and a Panzerbill Recon. And that's all we have. Now, normally I would really not recommend taking this flank with just a Leopard, because Leopards are really not very heavily armed. Sorry, not very heavily armored. They have a pretty decent weapon on them. 15 armor penetration on mine, and the Leopard from Sparky is even a bit better with 17 armor penetration. The armor on them is really not that good. 12, 8 on mine, and this 1A5 has 10 frontal armor. So, in the armor department we are really, really lacking. And not just there, but we also have helicopter issues. We spotted one Mi-8 flying around here, and even an Mi-8 with rocket pods can do quite a bit of damage against our tanks. So we're gonna have to be really, really, really careful. We were very heavily coordinating this fight, trying to get as much damage done without taking pretty much a scratch on our vehicles, because in this situation we don't even have a single fob between 10 people. So we have to be really, really careful. As far as spotters go, we have my own Leopard, and we have the BGS. And yes, I'm gonna keep saying Leopard, because Leopard is just less usual to me. So we keep moving up. We spot some stuff, and some of it we cannot even properly identify yet. We know that there's a lot of ASUs deployed by Vasha, and we got the Banzai kid, who's just deploying a couple of command infantry units over here. Which is a bit of an unusual choice, but it goes down nonetheless. And that's when we run into the first bit of USSR trouble in the form of a T-80B. Normally I wouldn't put up a Leopard 1V Recon versus a T-80B. Not only do they have more firepower and more armor, they also have ATGMs. So normally I'd want to have some other tank take the hits, but we just didn't have any. But behold, this is going to be the attack of the Leopards. For now we're just waiting for our AA to catch up. We have Sparky who's bringing in an NM195. And with that we hope to have some sort of deterrent against the helicopter. Because again, one helo can make all the difference here. We got Coffee God 90 moving up here with BGS, and over towards the left we have Sivraj with Volskamjäger. Other than that, we have the town more or less secured with one squad of AGGM infantry. I don't think I've ever seen this little infantry in this town. Towards the left, we're doing quite okay. We got a bit of infantry here. We got our own command infantry here in Delta neutralizing the income. And right now there's no real clear-cut advantage, although Blue 4 has scored more points, which means Red 4 has lost more units. Now I decide to push in with the Leopard. I'm going to taunt them a little bit, and with a very high accuracy I can pretty much two-shot these things. But here comes the ADB again. ADB is trying to get a shot in, but I'm guessing that he might not be able to see me. Alex says we lost this sector, and that's Alex from the enemy team, of course. They don't have any recon, and that is really a massive, massive advantage. As without any kind of reconnaissance, the ATGM on that tank is not so much of an issue. So I'm very, very carefully sneaking my Leopard through this bush over here, trying to get a spot, and also relying on the BGS, which are slightly in front of me, to get another spot. Coffee God's 185 is also pushing up, and to the right we have Sparky's 185. And his Panzer Bill as a recon. Although these Panzer Bills only got good optics. I have very good optics on mine, and I believe that the BGS also have very good optics. They have good stealth. My tank has medium stealth, and this is an aspect that's going to come in really, really useful if you want to try and sneak up on these guys. And talking about sneaking, we got Ruff over here who's trying to sneak in some recon infantry. Got spotted possibly by the BGS or the Panzer Bill, and they are getting shot at. However, here comes the T-80B. The T-80B gets its firing computer reset, which means it's not going to fire anywhere near the standard accuracy. But our Leopard 185 from Coffee God got heavily damaged. He's down to 5 hit points. My 185 is okay, so I'm taking a point, trying to push back these ASUs. The BGS are still there, and I'm trying to motivate Coffee God to move these guys up. Igla squad died over there. And I know that this this T-80B is hurting. It is not going to be as accurate, it is not going to be as effective, and with a firing computer reset and my own accuracy to match, I can probably take it out if we push. So I've got my Leopard pushing up, there's the T-80B running away. He is no longer worried, and his firing computer is almost done resetting, so he's going to be back at full accuracy. At this range, I have to be really careful because we can almost one-shot each other at this point. T-80B fires into the Leopard 185 from Sparky. Sparky returns fire and almost kills the T-80B. My Leopard is not yet pushing up because I am detracked, otherwise I would have pushed in, but this happens at the worst possible time. Sparky's Leopard 185 has been damaged, and even a damaged tank like this has to be repaired. Normally you would just keep pushing it through, but in a situation such as this you want to be really, really, really careful. Otherwise you're basically going to be out of the match. That's why you see most people quitting. So I'm waiting for my Leopard to get fixed up, or basically to get its tracks back up. The other Leopard is down to 5 hit points. Which means that if we do encounter the second T-80B as well, we're going to be in trouble. The T-80B, though, is seemingly completely unaware of our presence. And there we go. He just took a big hit, down to 2 hit points. I'm not sure which of the tanks fired the shot, and it doesn't really matter, but the thing that matters is the range. The range between these tanks is now so close that the armor penetration value goes up. We did unfortunately lose the friendly Leopard from Coffee God. His Leopard died. So we're down 1 Leopard. We have an LAV-3 TUA coming in for support as very, very good unit against the T-80. I'm trying to push in. I kill the recon, blinding this T-80B because the T-80B only has poor optics of its own, and there goes the T-80B. Down to 2 hit points and he got killed off. We got the Recon Leopard, or the Recon Leopard, still pushing, trying to get the ASU, and the other wounded T-80B is over there. If I, however, get too aggressive, I might lose this tank. So instead, my Leopard goes for the easier kills. I try to get in range. I'm almost in range of this T-80B. I fire, and I get him down to 1 hit point, at which point he just keeps retreating. Fire at the transport instead. So I thought, okay, now I got you. Now I can get you. The T-80B really disagrees with that and fires its ATGM. Leopard takes a massive hit and goes down to 2 hit points. So we really only have 2 wounded Leopards here. One of mine and one of Sparky. Sparky's just got fixed up. And we have Coffee God here, who is probably aiming to repair his own Leopard. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out because his Leopard died before the Jupiter got there. By this time I've saved up enough points to actually bring in a second reconnaissance leopard. And with that I'm trying to get multiple units over at the front line, not just as multiple firing units, but also along the lines of spreading out the damage. If one of them is hurt, I can always send up the other one. And by doing it in such a way, you can have a little bit more of a combat presence. But of course, it's going to take a while before the thing actually gets there. In the meanwhile, I'm bringing up my CV. Not that I want to capture anything quickly, but if we get an opportunity and we can capture or neutralize Charlie, that will really help. In the meanwhile, over on the left, Mr. Apple is doing very sneaky maneuvering with Corps Mariniers. He has spotted the CV. Unfortunately, we don't really have anything to reach out and touch that thing. We don't have any artillery because it's too expensive. We only have what I usually call direct assault weapons. So basically guns. At this point we even have 3 CVs spotted. We got the one over in Delta, we got one in Charlie, and one in Bravo. Although of course there will be more of them in Bravo. If these guys engage, they're going to get spotted. If they get spotted, they're going to get killed off by the Mi-8. So it's going to be a trade-off. Do you go for it and risk dying with these pretty expensive infantry units, especially in a situation such as this, or do you try and kill? He's trying to kill, and he's paying for it dearly. He's taking fire from 2 Mi-8s. The UAZ by now is running away, but he is more or less running into my flank. The flank that we have over here with the Leopards. Leopard coming back out, it's been fixed up. We have a T-80B that's now on full health, barring 1 hit point. I'm trying to push in, and still his reconnaissance apparently is not very good. He still does not really know what is going on. I do take fire from the T-80B though. He misses, I hit, and his missing shot was really surprising, considering he's an elite level tanker versus my veteran. We exchange fire a little bit, but if he keeps that up, he's going to win. So I decide to retreat. I'm going to keep this hit points, I'm going to keep this thing alive, and I'm perfectly happy just trying to bring it back and get it fixed up. That's when the other Leopard comes in. Now this Leopard is, I believe, only hardened. It is not as good as the other one, because this one already got a few kills, and this one is still learning how to basically drive his tank and pull the trigger. Over towards the left, the Corps Mariniers have unfortunately died. We no longer know where their CV is, but we know it's somewhere over on this end. We have HGM information that there's an HGM position here and that the T-80 has died. Now the HGM position is a problem, as I find out a little bit too late. Missile comes in. Fortunately it does not connect with the Leopard, otherwise it would have been a lot of damage. Second missile, again, misses. I don't have a good line of fire or a good line of sight to actually spot the HGM, so instead I'm just firing position. And I think I accidentally hit the HGM infantry there. Switch back, oh, not the server, switch back to me. I believe the HGM has just died. I think that the Panzer Bill might have killed it off, otherwise the 1A5. Killed off a logistics unit. You could argue that I could have captured it, but at this point I was too worried about not being able to capture it, and instead giving those HGMs more and more and more ammo. And this is what happens when you leave those HGMs alive. They apparently did not die, and my newly recruited Leopard 1 Recon actually died. Now at this point we have a massive advantage. We have an Apache from Bali 44. And the Apache can tackle pretty much any threat, including helicopters. Now it's currently wasting HGMs, very expensive HGMs, on transports. I would leave those to the Leopards in a situation like this. But hey, he probably doesn't have anything better to shoot at. With a couple of gunships coming in, fortunately the Apache is going to tackle these, as the Apache can really heavily damage those helicopters with the autocannon. We also have the NM195 firing, and these helos were probably going for the Volkskamjäger or my Laro, I'm not entirely sure which one. Laro is in position and has managed to counter cap. So we're neutralizing this zone. Really further depriving Red 4 of their own income. I'm still only down to one tank over here. We have the LAV-3 TUA supporting and the 1A5. Other than that, we're basically trying to catch up with the infantry that's not as fast. We've got Flieger Faust, we've got the NM195. The Apache is going to come down, it's going to land and take some of the supplies from Sparky to get its rocket pods back up. But of course, these things are really intensive for logistics. They're going to eat Hellfires, or they're going to eat supplies with their Hellfires. And really, you don't need more Hellfires in a situation like this. He's taken on rocket pods, and this is mostly what he needed. So he's back up in the air, trying to provide more overwatch and more supporting fire for our Leopards. The TOA kills a CV. That's not the last CV though, otherwise we would have capped the zone. So we're pushing up with, lo and behold, 2 Leopards and an HGM unit, with an Apache coming in hot in pursuit. But we really don't have a lot. It is just enough to keep Red 4 at bay. That's really all that we're doing. Trying to keep them at bay. NM195 from Sparky engages the Mi-8s that are again coming in. Another CV gets shot down by Sparky. And the Apache is again doing great work at killing off those Mi-8s, since the NM195 is almost out of ammo, but he gets the last shot in on the helo. Helo fortunately does not come down on the infantry, but it's not far off. Sparky could have lost a few guys over there. CV over here is still spotted, gets nuked by the HGM vehicle. And now we're slowly but steadily trying to push in on Red 4's main base. But we have to be really careful, as this would be a perfect time for Red 4 to actually deploy some HGMs here and waste these Leopards. Sparky has taken quite a bit of fire on his Leopard, so he's pulling back. I'm taking point together with Coffee God's new Leopard 185. And we're basically trying to find whatever might be capturing this zone, so long as it's not an infantry command that's hiding somewhere in there. And at this point, the game is pretty much up. Red 4 knows it, Blue 4 is in their position, and we basically just got them. And that's how you clear out a flank using 3 Leopards, 1 A5s. That's all we were using. Sparky, big props there, 480 points in kills, 15 points in losses only. Myself, I lost 1 Recon Leopard, I got some points but it didn't do particularly well. Pilot did okay. And as for Red 4, I saw someone use a Niwa, which is a really unusual unit, especially in a tactical like this, because it's not likely to get anywhere near its own point value back. They eat supplies, and you have to be really careful with those things. So those were definitely not the right unit to use. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that tactical game. Let me know what you think. If you have any of your own tactical games that are really cover worthy on this channel, let me know and I'll be happy to cover it in the next Tactical Tuesday. For now, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon for the next video.